It is minus 31 Celsius, which is about minus 24 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm going to drive 100-kilometer round trip and see how efficient the Tesla Model 3 can go. This is a 2024 Tesla Model 3 long range all-wheel drive, and I'm going to compare this result to a previous video where I did the same exact test on the same exact loop in about minus 22 or minus 23. I had to wait until the evening to do this one. There'll be just enough lighting for me to do this test, but I wanted it to be that full minus 30 to get that real drastic temperature shift. So you can see here, it's about 6:36, minus 31 degrees Celsius, and it's getting really cold here tonight, you guys. And look at this, absolutely disgusting, minus 42 on Tuesday. This is not including the wind chill. So we're gonna see if the consistent driving of the car keeps it warm enough to not burn that power to reheat the whole system. And is that gonna be enough to actually save energy? I kind of doubt it, considering I used about 35% when it was minus 23 on the same 100-kilometer or 60-mile round trip. Even if I can hit around 35%, I'd be happy. We'll see what I end up using. It's gonna be a big number. I don't think there's any way of avoiding that because it's so cold, but this will be a really good test, even just to show you guys, if you plan to go on a road trip when it is this extreme cold, what you can expect to use per 100 kilometers or 60 miles. And I'll be doing check-ins every 20 or 25%, as well as the 67-kilometer mark, which is the amount of distance I drove with the gap in between for that 8-hour workday. So I'll be checking the usage distance on that one too, which should be a really fun test. And of course, I've set a new trip for the 100-kilometer test. So we'll see the total kilometers traveled, the total kilowatt hours used, as well as the watt hours per kilometer. And I will be converting all of this to the American units as well, the imperial units for this one too. So all my American viewers out there will be able to get the context here as well. Well, nightfall's approaching. I better get on the road here, and it's getting colder, but yeah, we'll see how this goes. I guess one important thing to note I almost forgot before I started was I'm starting at 77%. And the car thinks I'm going to use exactly 20% to get to my halfway point. And so it's kind of projecting that I'll use 40% for the full trip. However, we will check updates on this and see how this is looking as we go. And as always, guys, I'm going to be at 114 kilometers per hour for this test, which is 70 miles an hour, just to keep a really consistent baseline for all my testing. And the other one that's as always is I'm going to keep the interior at 20 degrees Celsius. I'm going to keep the fan and everything set to auto. This is 68 Fahrenheit. This is going to keep everything really consistent. A really quick initial check-in, 5 kilometers in. Used 2 kilowatt hours already, 323 watt hours per kilometer. So not great, but yeah, we'll keep going. And don't worry guys, I'm not gonna be bored on this test. I'm gonna be listening to The WAN Show. Comment down below if you're also a listener of The WAN Show. It's a pretty awesome podcast by some tech bros. Full self-drive really makes these drives just so relaxed and chill. Like I'm just cruising down the highway, ready to take over at any point. I got my phone mounted up on my recorder, so it's all hands-free. This is pretty sweet. It's making me want to do a really big road trip. So who knows, by the time this goes up, I might already be going on this trip, but I'm really considering a 2,000-kilometer road trip out west to British Columbia, probably to Revelstoke, BC. I used to live in Revelstoke, and that was an awesome place to do some snowboarding, and I worked on the ski hill. I would love to do this test while I still have my free supercharging, which means I wouldn't pay anything for fuel just because I get free supercharging for the first 3 months while I own this car, and that would just barely be within that window since I took delivery late December. I could document the total amount of kilowatt hours used, and since the pricing is different everywhere per kilowatt anyway, doesn't really matter. What matters would be the amount that my car took, and then you could do the math yourself to see how efficient the car was. But I feel like that would be a really fun test to see, can I take all my snowboard gear? Can it get to BC? How comfortable will it be? How long do charging stops actually take? Because I know that these apps like a Better Route Planner and even the Tesla itself, it's going to be pretty accurate, but I could film the real life experience of, does it work well? All right, guys, a quarter of the way into the test, I've used 7 kilowatt hours. I'm at 277 watt hours per kilometer. That is brutal, especially since the battery was warm when I started. It's not like I had to preheat the whole thing, but at least my trip projector is accurate at 57% still. So yeah, this has been bang on accurate. So honestly guys, that does restore a lot of faith in me to see how accurate this trip projector is, even in minus 31 Celsius, minus 24 Fahrenheit. It's nailing the trip guess, like it's crazy. I love it. Now, am I getting anywhere near what the website promised me with 548 kilometers per charge? Heck no, I'm getting like 300 at best when the weather's like this, pretty much half. But at least the car is not trying to make me think I'm gonna get that when I'm driving. It's being accurate with the projections. And in the summer, I have a lot of faith that I will get pretty close to 548. I don't think I'll hit that. I'll definitely try to pace that. But even if I get like 500, whatever, it's totally good. There's just no need to have these massive numbers realistically. And after I say all that, now we're at 58% projected. So it's actually more conservative here than it needs to be, which is pretty awesome to see considering the weather being right around that minus 30 Celsius. I absolutely love it. And yeah, it's getting dark out here, but visibility's pretty good in the Tesla. And we got that pretty nice late winter sunset going on. All right, just hit 40 kilometers, getting close to my turnaround point, and at 11 kilowatt hours used, 273 watt hours per kilometer, still at exactly pretty much double the EPA rated range. So that's a little concerning, but still not concerning to see that I'm still doing better than the initial projections. So I can rely on that. But yeah, we're turning around real soon here and I will document that. All right, at the turnaround point, kind of cool. You see the flashing LEDs there, it's flashing green. Another feature of the sexy buttons, or more specifically, the commander from Enhance Auto. One of the many hundreds of features that you can program the car to do, and it's just extra little things like that that make it a really cool product. And so I'm gonna have that linked in the description. I highly recommend it. It's a really fun add-on to add to your Tesla. Just check out their YouTube channel even to see some of the features that it does. I'm only showcasing a few here and there, like battery temperatures and such, but it does so much more. So check that out. And I've got a 10% discount link in the description for you guys too. All right, though, we are 55 kilometers into this test. 15 kilowatt hours used, and at 269 watt hours per kilometers, ever so slowly. We're kind of making up some ground, but yeah, emphasis on the slow. And the car is projecting I'm gonna get back to Dollarama, my starting point, at 39%. So that would be about a total of 38% used. That would be 3% more than my test when it was minus 23 or so. And so that is right around 10% worse than at minus 23. So you know what? I mean, I knew it was gonna be worse, obviously. Why would it be better? Unless it's the wind or something, but really, that's not too bad. I'm really curious to do this test on a 0-degree day, which I fully intend on doing, just to really have an awesome spreadsheet of results. Just like I've done in my 67 kilometer round trip work tests, I'm gonna make a spreadsheet for this one too. And so I'll have all kinds of spreadsheets for my 100 kilometer loop at various temperatures, various conditions. If I can do one during a blizzard, that'd be kind of cool. Do one during a rainstorm. All these options would be really cool to do. So I plan on doing that, and then I'm going to have a giant spreadsheet showing all the results and how they compare and just the overall notable factors to them too. So I think that's going to end up having a lot of value as I do more of these 100 kilometer loops, having, 10 or 15 tests with various temperatures and various weather conditions. I feel like that's going to provide quite a bit of value so you can know what to expect in a 100 kilometer round trip. All right, so I'm at my 67 kilometer mark. This is an excellent check-in point to compare to my round trip. The only difference is I was on the highway the entire time here. It didn't give the car any time to cool down versus my minus 31 test for my work trip. The car was sitting for 8 hours and then I preconditioned for 10 minutes. And in that one, I used about 31%. In this test, I used 25%. So I'm at 52 starting from 77. Really, not that much better. I saved about 6%. But yeah, that 6% would have just been used for preconditioning. So really, it's kind of just adding up, which is kind of a boring result, but I guess sort of predictable. Minus 32 here now, so this is super cold. This is like minus 26 or so Fahrenheit. This is getting very chilly, but the car is still working fine. And at 20 degrees, I'm still fairly warm. Honestly, I do kind of feel like turning it up, but for the sake of the test, I'm not going to. It's just this glass roof, like it's cold. There's a cold draft coming through it. I don't know if you guys can relate to that. Like I have a bunch of viewers in Winnipeg and Calgary and Edmonton, and even a bunch from Saskatoon. You guys will know what I mean, but like, it's just weird. I could feel like cold air coming through the roof. There's been some comments saying I should look into, I think it's called EV Insulate, a few other products out there that insulate your glass. I know Bjorn Nieland has used it too in his winter camping test. That guy is kind of legendary with the Tesla testing. I've just got more extreme cases that I can do more regularly than him in Norway, since Norway, pretty warm winters, I'll be honest. Minus 20 is not that cold. Yeah, I do want to look into getting some insulation products because, yeah, like my head and my ears just feel chilly. The rest of me is fine. And I could just turn it up to 22 and it'd be fine. But for the integrity of my testing, it's got to stay at 20. And it's not like I'm uncomfortable. It's just my wife, if she was in the car, she would probably be wanting to set this thing to like 23 or 24 right now. So it's just me in here for this one. Sitting at 46% and 83 kilometers and 22 kilowatt hours used with 268 watt hours per kilometer. So really, we're not getting any better than that, it seems. That's going to be our number, which is double the EPA rated range. But I guess what do you expect when you're in temperatures this cold? How many of you viewers have actually experienced experienced temperatures this cold. And kind of cool to see that 39% estimation still bang on, and we're on track to hit that by the time we get back to the Canadian dollar store, Dollarama. I'm pretty much at the 100K mark here. This is going to go over to about 102 or 103, but there's the 100. And we've used 27 kilowatt hours and 266 watt hours per kilometer. I'll do a final update at my final stop here just over the 100Ks. Just turning into my final stop here, and it's kind of cool to see that I got full regen braking here when it's this cold. Thought that was interesting to throw in. And I've made it, so I've got the results ready to go here. After 104 kilometers, so slightly over 100, this is exactly what I used on the last test, except for I started that trip slightly late on that one. I used 28 kilowatt hours, 265 watt hours per kilometer. I'll have the watt hours per mile on screen. And this is how it compares to the same exact test in minus 23 Celsius versus today being about a minus 31 Celsius. We'll call it that on average. And here I am at 38% after the 104 kilometers. That is a total usage of 39% use. And if you count the +1 that I got on the projected to my turnaround point, and then subtract the -1 that it was off to get here, I am exactly bang on with the projection. So even after 104 kilometers in disgustingly cold weather, it is bang on. As long as you set your arrive at supercharger number to be like 10%, even if you're a couple off, who cares? You're going to get there at 7 or 8 or 9%, you're fine. Unless the unthinkable happens and the charger whole station is down or something crazy, then you might be a little bit up the creek. But in a Tesla, at least, I got quite a bit of faith in that since their network has been pretty much flawless. And so in conclusion, comparing to that minus 23 a day as we've already seen, I would say I'm happy with the results. I used 28 kilowatt hours versus the 24 on the minus 23 a day. So 4 more kilowatt hours used. That's about 60 cents in Canadian. So really the fuel cost, yeah, it did go up. And in the ICE car, in the traditional gas vehicle, yeah, the cost might have gone up a little bit, but really not that much. But even still, my total cost was $4.20 if you times it by my local rate. If I add tax and such, it was about $4.30 or $4.40. And so really not that bad, especially comparing to my previous car. And it was a fuel efficient car, a 2010 Honda Civic DXG. That car averaged me about 8.2 liters per 100 kilometers. In the winter, it was substantially worse, being on the winter tires. And just overall in winter, the engine is working so much harder just to keep everything flowing and such. And so I always kind of round up on that one. But even if I round that up to 9 liters per 100 kilometers, that means we would have used about 9.5 liters here on this trip. And 9.5 liters times the current gas price of $1.55, which means I would have spent about $14.75 versus $4.20 here. So that is triple. It's triple. It's more than triple. It's almost quadruple the cost. And that's in a Civic, you guys. Imagine a pickup truck. Those things average like 15 liters per 100 kilometers or like 15 mpg or whatever silly it is. My Civic was like 30 mpg. This Tesla has proven to save a ton. And then if we start looking at stuff that uses premium, like, oh my goodness, something like a BMW, which is a comparable car to this class in the Tesla, you're spending so much more than my little Honda Civic in the 1.8 liter 4-cylinder engine running on regular gas. Like, it's not even comparable almost. But even comparing to that, the Tesla, the electric vehicle, absolutely killing it. And then best part is I'll get home and I will have a full charge tomorrow. I don't have to go to the gas station. These perks just keep adding up. And as for you can't take it on a road trip, heck yeah, you can. There's a charger every 150 kilometers or closer. Yeah, even if I do use 50 or 60% every leg and I have to charge for 15 or 20 minutes every time, I don't care. There's always a charger by a Tim Hortons or just a general rest stop, right? The car's got Netflix built into the 14 or 15 inch screen, whatever it is. It's not going to kill me to either walk around, but if it's this cold, I won't walk around. But still, there's no shortage of comfort or things to do in the Tesla while you're refueling. And so, yeah, I think I am going to do that Revelstoke road trip. That'll be a pretty epic video. That might be a long one. I might have to film in a different style for that one. But I think that'll be an epic road trip for me to time all my stops, how long the charging was, how much it would have costed if I didn't have free supercharging. I'll be able to calculate the cost of those kilowatt hours if I had to pay for them versus the cost of what the gas would have been in comparable vehicles. So that's going to be an epic one. And I have full confidence that the car will make it, especially because March, it's never going to be as cold as this. And as you get into BC, the weather gets warmer. So in that sketchy portion of the drive by Revelstoke and Golden in BC, it's not going to be even minus 20. It's going to be way warmer. So the car is going to be way more efficient. I'll be even less concerned. So overall, I'd have to say the car did fine. The car does fine. 104 kilometers to use 40%, not even. Who's stressing? Like, I'll use 60% for 150. I don't care. I'll just cycle that all the way to BC and have an awesome time snowboarding. So I hope this test has been helpful for you guys. If it was, make sure you subscribe to the channel, make sure you like the video, and comment if it has been, or comment if you're surprised, or comment what you want to see. I hope these videos are helpful So let me know if they are, and let me know if they're not. But if you're going to let me know if they're not, tell me why and tell me how I can improve them. I want constructive criticism if there's going to be criticism. But until next time, thanks for tuning in to another Frozen Tesla video.